My ex-fiancée left me standing at the altar for her ex, who turned up just before the wedding. I stood there in front of everyone as she left. I made the reception my going-away party. That week, I moved to a different state. She's been looking for me for 2 years now. Okay, Reddit. Get ready for this story because it's really crazy. My friend Jake also talked me into sharing it. This happened in June 2022, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around how bold that was. Here's how it works. I work for a manufacturing firm in Pennsylvania that sells industrial equipment. I'm Kyle. I'm 29 years old, and I'm a man. I've been with the same employer since I graduated. Over the course of 6 years, I moved up from an entry-level job to an account manager. I made good money, had my own condo outside of Pittsburgh, a paid-off 2016 Ford F-150, and a good 401k. Not showy, yet safe and cozy. I loved my truck. I got it certified pre-owned from a dealer who really took care of their stock instead of just putting a new coat of wax on everything. Crew cab, tow package, and everything else. The first month I spent putting in a bed liner and upgrading the sound system because the factory speakers usually sound like they're playing music through a tin can. I had pretty much given up on meeting someone significant after seeing most of my friends go through relationships that ended badly because of silly fights and problems with commitment. Was working, getting in shape, and fixing up the 1969 Mustang I got at an estate auction. The body was fine, but the engine was completely broken. In August 2019, my sister holds a cookout, and that's when I meet Caitlin. This girl seemed like everything I didn't realize I needed. The 4th grade teacher at this downtown private school had a giggle that made everyone around her grin. Dressed in a way that made her look like she had planned it out instead of just grabbing whatever was nearest to the door. Her overall vibe was so good that just being around her made you want to be a better person. We got along right away over the grill. She thought it was nice that I had genuine ambitions in life than just getting by from paycheck to paycheck, had real furniture instead of garbage, and could arrange a date that didn't entail fast food and a Netflix subscription. Most of the guys she dated thought that becoming an adult constituted a mental illness of some type. From the first day of dating Caitlin, things felt different. Conversations on the future happened on their own. She'd ask about my lease renewal, talk about how she wanted to introduce me to her extended family, and joke about how we would need a garage for our future house when she saw me working on the Mustang. We weren't just seeing what might happen. This was serious. We were working towards something real. I couldn't believe that she actually became involved in the Mustang project. Most of the women I dated either acted like they cared or said straight out that they thought my pastime was a waste of time and money. While I worked in the parking lot of my building, Caitlin would bring me lunches and ask me real questions about what I was doing. One Saturday, she even helped me sand out the rust on the quarter panels while wearing these old coveralls that her dad lent her. From the start, her family liked me. Robert, her dad, used to work for the Postal Service. He was a no-nonsense person who liked that I showed there on time and kept my word. We'd spend Sunday afternoons in his workshop making cabinets for her mom's sewing room. While we worked, we spoke about everything from football to power tools to what it takes to make a life worth living. Robert's workshop was like a woodworking paradise. Guy had tools from his grandfather's construction business that were all set up like a museum display. He showed me how to do things right the first time so that I wouldn't have to do them again. Patricia, her mom, treated me like the son she never had, always bringing me home with enough food to last me 3 days and asking me what I thought about everything. Really wanted me to do well. She had an amazing garden with raised beds and an irrigation system. She even let me help her make her greenhouse bigger and taught me about companion planting. They would always tell Caitlin how blessed she was to have me and how foolish it would be to let me go. Robert would drop hints about having grandkids, and Patricia would always say things like how well off their future grandkids would be with someone like me in the family. Before I ever asked them to marry me, these folks were like family to me. I was ready to make it official by March 2022. I had a $8,200 ring in my bank safe deposit box. It had a white gold band and a princess-cut diamond that sparkled like a disco ball. The strategy was easy. We talked about it at our 2-year anniversary dinner at the Italian restaurant where we had our first date. Then start planning the wedding with both families. 2 weeks before, she called her dad to seek for his blessing like a good person. Robert got emotional on the phone and said he couldn't think of a nicer man for his daughter. He said he had been waiting for this call since Christmas. He said that he and Patricia had previously opened a savings account to assist pay for the wedding, since they wanted their only daughter to have the best day of her life. The proposal went off without a hitch. Got down on one knee just as dessert came. She shed tears of joy. Everyone in the restaurant clapped like we were in a love movie. She called her parents right away, and they started crying too. Put the ring on social media with a comment about how she found her soulmate. It had everything you should want. Because Caitlin wanted a summer wedding, we started making plans right away. Her mom knew an event planner who could get us into this beautiful old barn that had been turned into a reception hall with string lights and exposed rafters. It was the kind of setting that seemed like a fairy tale in pictures. Spent the next 3 months making plans for every little thing. There are 180 persons on the guest list. DJ who was good at getting everyone to dance. Photographer who charged more than my first automobile, but his work was worth it. The total cost of production was around $35,000, with both families pitching in. I took care of most of the details because that's what I do. Caitlin would get too much to handle when she saw the options. So, I would limit things down and let her make the ultimate decision. Worked like a charm. Her college roommates and her cousin Rachel were her bridesmaids. My 3 best friends from high school and my brother-in-law were my groomsmen. The bachelor party was a weekend excursion to this lake in upstate New York to fish. There was a lot of chatter during the bachelorette party about how lucky Caitlin was. It was a spa weekend. By May, everything was set in stone. Sent out invitations, got RSVPs back, and made final payments to all the vendors. The rehearsal dinner is set for Friday night at this downtown eatery. The ceremony and reception will take place on Saturday, June 18th, at 3 p.m. A week before the wedding, I put most of my things in storage because Caitlin and I were moving into a bigger house following the honeymoon. 2-bedroom apartment closer to her school with a real garage for the Mustang. Signed the lease and paid the first and last month's rent, as well as the security deposit. We had a moving truck booked for the Monday after we returned back from our honeymoon on the Outer Banks. Everything was just right. Everything was set up. Everything was set. Then Friday came. At 6 p.m., the rehearsal supper began. Both families came dressed nicely, and everyone was cheerful and enthusiastic. We went over the details of the ceremony with the officiant, such where everyone should stand when the music starts and all the other planned things that make weddings appear smooth instead than messy. Caitlin looked like she was always busy. She kept checking her phone during the walkthrough and only half-heartedly answered people's inquiries. I thought she was just worried about the big day. It's normal to be nervous before your wedding. We chose this lovely steakhouse for dinner months ago. They booked their own room and ordered a lot of appetizers, the full thing. My dad offered this toast about how proud he was, how Caitlin was like the daughter he never had, and how excited he was to finally welcome her into our family. Robert stood up and talked about how he had seen his daughter grow up and how he had known from the beginning that I was the appropriate guy for her. Caitlin hardly touched her food. She just moved it around on her plate while looking at her phone under the table, as if she hoped no one would notice. "Are you okay?" While everyone else was talking, I inquired quietly. "Yeah, I'm simply weary. It was a long week at school because the semester was ending." "That's fair. At the end of the year, 4th graders go crazy. I understand." But then her phone rang, and I saw her face turn absolutely white. She said she had to go to the restroom and was gone for about 15 minutes. Her eyes were red when she got back, like she'd been sobbing. "What's really wrong?" I asked. "Nothing. I'm just feeling emotional about tomorrow." Tears of joy. I should have pushed harder. I should have asked what was actually going on. But I didn't want to cause a scene in front of everyone, so I let it go. First red sign, ignored. We departed the supper at about 9 p.m. Tradition states that the bride and groom shouldn't see each other the night before the wedding. So I went back to my friend Jake's house, where I was staying, and she went to her parents' house, where her bridesmaids were sleeping. While we were eating leftover pizza and watching TV, Jake asked, "Dude, are you ready for tomorrow?" "Ready as I'll ever be." I spent 2 months making sure everything was perfect. But Caitlin felt a little off tonight. Did you see that? Nerves before the wedding. Tomorrow she'll be all right. Jake looked at me like he wanted to say something else, but then he didn't. I wonder if he saw something I didn't want to see when I look back. Around midnight, my phone rang. A text from Caitlin. I adore you a lot. Tomorrow will be great. I said, I love you too. I can't wait to marry you. Get some sleep. That was our last normal chat. Got up at 7 a.m. It was Saturday morning in Jake's guest room. I took my suit out of the closet. Custom-tailored charcoal gray that cost more than I wanted to say, but it looked good enough to make up for it. I took a shower, got dressed, and looked at my phone. Caitlin didn't say anything, which was customary. She was probably dealing with hair and makeup and the craziness of being a bridesmaid. We had brunch at this cafe, killed a few hours, and then went to the venue at midday. The ceremony didn't start until 3 p.m., but I wanted to be there early to make sure everything was ready. The place looked amazing. Someone had evidently been there since daybreak, making sure everything was just right. Even though it was daytime, there were white seats in tidy rows facing this wooden arbor adorned in flowers and string lights dangling from the rafters. The tables in the reception room all had centerpieces and name cards on them. Everything went just as we had anticipated. At 1 p.m., the photographers came to take pictures of me and the best man getting ready. We're fastening our ties and adjusting our cufflinks while the photographer takes pictures of everything for the future, trying to look natural while posing for planned images that are meant to look like they were taken by chance. About 2 p.m. guests started coming and filling up those white chairs, one by one. Like we practiced, my family was on one side and hers was on the other. DJ was playing calm music in the background. Everything is going smoothly. 2:30 p.m. I'm at the altar with the officiant and my groomsmen, watching folks find their seats, checking my watch and trying not to sweat through my costly suit. Danny, my best man, keeps making jokes to help me relax. Take it easy, man. In half an hour you'll be married, and all of this will be a blur. That's what I hope will happen. 2:45 p.m. The bridesmaids start to walk down the aisle in their navy blue outfits. Everything is going as planned. They stand across from us, smiling and holding their bouquets. After that, we wait and wait and wait. The soundtrack that is supposed to signal Caitlin's entry keeps playing over and over. People are moving around in their chairs, looking at their phones, and talking to each other in low voices. My heart is racing in my chest, and I'm trying to look calm. 3:05 p.m. No bride yet. Patricia, her mom, wakes up and almost sprints to the bridal suite. Comes back 5 minutes later looking completely freaked out. Says something to Robert in a low voice, and he instantly gets up. They both go behind the venue. I gaze at Danny. What in the world is going on? I don't know, man. Maybe an emergency with clothes. But deep inside, I understood this wasn't a dress emergency. 3:15 p.m. The whispers are getting louder. People are really talking now, looking at their phones, and taking pictures of what's going on like it's a show. I'm still standing at the altar like a complete idiot because I don't know what else to do. That's when I see him come in through the front door like he owns the place. He was roughly 6 feet 2 inches tall and wore pants and a leather jacket that looked like he had just gotten off a motorcycle. He has dark hair and stubble, and he looks like the kind of guy who makes horrible choices for a job but still makes it work. He walks right past all the guests who are sitting down the middle aisle and directly to the back to the bridal suite. Robert tries to stop him. I can envision them having this intense talk close to where the bridal party is getting dressed. Robert is becoming angry and points back toward the door, but the guy in the leather jacket just pushes past him and goes to the back. I'm standing there in front of 180 people watching this happen like it's a movie I didn't buy tickets for. 5 minutes later, Caitlin comes out of the bridal suite in her wedding dress, holding the hand of the leather jacket guy. The whole place goes silent as they head toward the exit. You could hear a pin drop. Everyone who was there saw my fiancée go by all of our guests holding another man's hand. She was wearing the dress we spent months selecting out, the veil her grandma wore, and the bouquet her mother crafted. She doesn't look at me or anyone else. She just keeps her eyes on the road and walks. I can't move. I'm frozen. My brain has entirely stopped working to figure out what's going on. Patricia is in tears. Robert looks like he might really go after the guy. The bridesmaids are standing there with their mouths gaping. I can see all of my groomsmen looking at me, waiting for me to give them a sign on what to do. They reach the door, and for the first time, she turns around and looks straight at me. She says, "I'm sorry," loud enough for the first few seats to hear. "I can't do this. Jordan came back, but I can't." Then they leave. He left in whatever car he came in. Out of here. The place becomes crazy. People standing up and talking over each other, with some of Caitlin's family members dashing after them. Patricia is crying hard, and Robert is trying to comfort her while yet seeming like he wants to hurt her. I'm still standing there at the altar. The officiant touches my shoulder. "I'm very sorry, son. That's what makes me stop." The way he sounded sad. The way everyone is gazing at me like I'm a hurt animal. My brother-in-law comes over. "Kyle, what do you want?" "What do I want? I need to go back 10 minutes. I need to know what just happened. I don't want to be standing at an altar in front of 180 people who just saw my wife run away with someone else." But none of that is occurring. So I choose something. I went over to the DJ booth. Guy is standing there looking very shocked. Not sure what to do with his life. Plans have changed. I told him, "This isn't a wedding anymore. It's a going away party." I what? Play upbeat music, dance music, party music. We've got a room full of people, an open bar, and a reception dinner that's already paid for. Might as well use it. I grabbed the microphone before I could overthink it. "Everyone, can I have your attention, please?" The chaos died down. Everyone's staring at me. As you just witnessed, there's not going to be a wedding today. Caitlin made her choice, and I respect that. Some scattered murmurs. Patricia's crying harder. But here's the thing. We've got this amazing venue, incredible food, an open bar, and a DJ who's very good at his job. All of it's paid for and non-refundable. I took a breath. So here's what's going to happen. This is now officially my going away party because as of Monday, I'm moving out of Pennsylvania, starting fresh somewhere new. And I want all of you, my family, my friends, the people who actually showed up for me today, to help me celebrate the next chapter. Dead silence for about 3 seconds. Then my dad started clapping. Then my mom, then my sister, then Jake and Danny and the rest of my groomsmen. Soon the whole room was applauding. Bars open, food will be served in 30 minutes, and the dance floor is ready. Let's make this a party worth remembering. The DJ, bless him, immediately switched to Lizo. People started moving toward the bar. The energy shifted from funeral to celebration in about 5 minutes. I went to the bathroom and called my boss. "Hey Jim, you know that regional manager position in Colorado you mentioned last month? The one I said I'd think about. I'm ready to accept if it's still available." "Kyle, isn't your wedding today?" "Not anymore. Long story. But I need out of Pennsylvania like yesterday. Can you make it happen? Give me until Monday morning. I'll call you back." Hung up, splashed some water on my face, looked at myself in the mirror, still wearing this stupid expensive suit. Well, I said to my reflection, that just happened. Went back out to the reception. My family had basically formed a protective circle around me, making sure I was okay, asking what I needed. Robert and Patricia came up looking absolutely devastated. "Kyle, we are so sorry," Patricia said through tears. "We had no idea. We had no idea she was even talking to her ex." "Who is he?" I asked. Robert's jaw clenched. "Jordan, her ex-boyfriend from college. They dated for 3 years before she met you. He moved to California for some job and they broke up. We thought that was ancient history. Apparently not. If I ever see him again," Robert started. "Don't," I interrupted. "He's not worth it. Neither is she, apparently." That hurt to say, but it was true. The party actually got pretty wild. People were dancing, drinking, eating this incredible plated dinner that some poor catering staff had to serve while processing the drama they just witnessed. The photographer actually stayed and took pictures. Said it was the most memorable event he'd ever shot. Somewhere around 8 p.m. after most of the older relatives had left, my friends convinced me to make a speech. Short version, Caitlin chose someone else. I'm choosing myself. Moving to Colorado on Monday for a fresh start. This is the last time I'm talking about this, so everyone get it out of your system now. Ask your questions. Say what you need to say, then we move forward. People ask the expected stuff. Was I okay? Did I see it coming? What was my plan? Answered honestly, no, I wasn't okay. But I would be. No, I didn't see it coming because I'm apparently terrible at reading signs. My plan was to leave Pennsylvania and never look back. To new beginnings, my dad said, raising his glass. To new beginnings, everyone echoed. The party went until midnight. DJ played every requested song. Bar stayed open. People danced like they were trying to sweat out the awkwardness of the whole situation. By the end of the night, it actually felt like a celebration instead of a tragedy. Sunday morning, I woke up in Jake's guest room with the worst emotional hangover of my life. Checked my phone expecting messages from Caitlin. Nothing. No apology, no explanation, no acknowledgement that she'd just blown up my entire life in front of 180 witnesses. But I did have 3 messages from her friends. First, from Rachel, her cousin who was a bridesmaid. Kal, I'm so sorry. We had no idea she was planning this. She swore yesterday that she was 100% committed to marrying you. None of US knew Jordan was even in the picture. Then from her college roommate Melissa, this is absolutely insane. Caitlin completely blindsided everyone. We're all in shock. Just wanted you to know that we think she made a horrible mistake and you deserve so much better. Finally, from her other college friend, Ashley. Hey, I know this probably doesn't help, but Jordan showed up at her parents' house Friday night. Apparently, he'd been texting her for weeks saying he made a mistake leaving her, that he wanted her back, that he was moving back to Pennsylvania for her. She told us she'd already told him no. Guess she changed her mind. So there it was. Weeks of secret communication while we were planning our wedding, while I was coordinating seating charts and finalizing the menu and making sure her parents felt included in every decision. She was having some emotional affair with her ex who promised her adventure or excitement or whatever I apparently wasn't providing. My boss called at 10 a.m. Job's yours if you want it. Regional manager for the Mountain West Territory based in Denver. Salary bump. Relocation assistance company vehicle. Can you start in 2 weeks? I can start Monday. I'll take a few days. Jim, with all due respect, I need to get out of here immediately. Monday works for me. Okay then. Monday it is. HR will send over the paperwork. Welcome to Colorado. Spent Sunday packing my entire life into my truck and a small U-Haul trailer. Didn't have much since most of my furniture was already in storage for the move to our new apartment that was never going to happen. Now, called the landlord of that new place, explained the situation, asked if he could return my deposit since I never actually moved in. Guy was surprisingly cool about it. Said he'd mail the check to my parents' address. My family came over to help me pack. Nobody knew what to say, so they just worked, loading boxes, wrapping dishes, taking down wall art. My mom kept trying to get me to eat something, but I had zero appetite. You're really leaving? Nothing left for me here, I said. What about your work? What about your friends? The Mustang. I took the truck and resigned my job since I got a better one. Jake is going to keep the Mustang in his garage until I can find out how to transport it to Colorado. I can have friends over, but I can't remain here. Robert and Patricia got there around 3 p.m. Patricia was still sobbing. It appeared like Robert had aged 10 years in one night. We wanted to give this back, Robert replied, handing me a check for the wedding from our savings account. We know it doesn't cover everything, but it's what we had saved up. I told you to keep it. Cal, please. We feel like we have to. You're not. You did the best you could to raise your daughter. It's not your fault what she did. Patricia hugged me for 2 minutes and cried on my shoulder. No matter what, you will always be family to us. You can always call us if you need anything. I will. I wouldn't do that. By 7 p.m. on Sunday night, I had everything I owned packed up. I said goodbye to my friends, my sister, and my parents. Promised to keep in touch. At the time, I meant it, but I also knew things would fade after I went. Jake took me to my pickup. I still can't believe what happened. 2 of us. Are you going to be okay out there? At some point, I just need some space from all of this. When you get there, call me. And don't worry, the Mustang is secure with me. I'll assist you move it when you're ready to finish fixing it up. Thanks. Bro left Jake's house at 8 p.m., get on the highway and head west. I saw Pennsylvania fade away in my rearview mirror and didn't glance back. Took me 2 full days to drive to Denver, and I had to stop at rest spots to sleep in the vehicle. I had a lot of time to reflect and go over every moment of the relationship, seeking for indications I missed. The way she had been acting distant for the past month. She started talking about how she wanted to travel more, see more of the country, and not be stuck in one spot. She had only mentioned Jordan twice, both times stating he was simply an old buddy checking in from California. I should have known. Should have pushed harder when things didn't feel right. But to be honest, I was a little bit happy. It's better to learn who she actually was before the wedding than after. It's better to be embarrassed in front of 180 people than to get divorced a year later when she thought being married was too boring. They got to Denver on Monday afternoon. The company put me up in a short-term corporate apartment while I looked for a permanent place to live. On Tuesday morning, I went to the regional office. I dove into work like my life depended on it. New territory, new accounts, new challenges. Exactly what I needed. The first month in Denver went by like a flash. Worked 12-hour days getting to know the area, meeting clients, and building relationships. When I got home, my apartment was empty, so I fell into bed. Do it again. Did not post anything on social media. I didn't change my relationship status. I didn't say anything about what happened, except to tell my new coworkers that I had just come from Pennsylvania to start again. Every week, my parents would call to see how I was doing. Every time, I told them the same thing. Okay. Keeping busy and doing well. Jake told me how things were going with the Mustang and back home. Caitlin and Jordan were together for 3 weeks, but then he decided that Pennsylvania was too small of a town for him and left back to California. She called Jake to ask for my new number. He told her to go away. Last week, she came to my house crying, "Dude." He called me crying and said she had made the biggest mistake of her life and begged me to teach her how to get in touch with you. What did you say? You told her to move on, too. She attempted the whole "we're gonna get married" routine, but I reminded her that she was the one who ran away from the wedding. It's not really your problem anymore. Did she mention anything else? She just kept claiming that she didn't know what she had until it was gone. That Jordan promised her fun and adventure. But it turned out he was just out of work and residing in a friend's extra room. Old school. I should have felt something when I heard that vindication. Maybe she was happy that karma caught up with her. But I didn't feel anything. It's been 2 months in Denver. I began to live instead of just survive. Went to the gym, hiked every weekend, and saw the city. Colorado was amazing. There were mountains all around, craft breweries on every corner, and people who were nice without being too nosy. I met a group of guys during a hiking meetup who became my new friends. No one knew about my history, and I didn't tell them. Just showed up, worked on the trails, and then had supper. Things that normal guys do. We started going out on casual dates after about 3 months. Just coffee dates and dinners, nothing serious. I made it obvious from the start that I didn't want anything serious. Dating in Denver was very different than dating in Pennsylvania. Women here seemed to be more free and less worried about wedding planning and timetables. Lauren, one of the girls I went out with, asked me directly on our 3rd date. "So, what's going on with you? You seem like a lovely person, yet you have this wall up." I moved here from Pennsylvania 6 months ago. Had some relationship problems that didn't work out. Not rushing anything. We dated for a few months, but then we both agreed that we would be better off as friends. She introduced me to her friends, which helped me make additional pals. Slowly putting together a real life in Colorado. Work was going really nicely. For 3 quarters in a row, I beat my sales goals. Received praise from the company. They even sent me to a leadership training session in Chicago. Getting promoted to regional manager was turning out to be the best thing I had ever done for my career. In the meantime, my phone stayed quiet. Caitlin never got my new phone number. Never saw me on social media. I turned everything off in Pennsylvania. Never found me. I thought she had no idea where I was, which was precisely what I wanted. I had entirely changed my life by the time I turned 1. I got a new job that I enjoyed, made new friends, picked up new activities, and moved into a condo in a neighborhood I wanted to live in. I even started seriously dating Ashley, a nurse at the local hospital who I met through friends. Ashley and Caitlin were very different in every aspect that mattered. She was independent, honest, and had her own full life that I could join instead of being expected to build everything around her. We had been dating for 6 months, and things were comfortable but not too much. She knew I had moved to Pennsylvania for business after a failed relationship, but she didn't know the circumstances. I liked that they didn't ask for more information. Jake called one afternoon while Ashley and I were out hiking. "You won't believe this, but I have to tell you. Caitlin is acting like a detective to discover you." "What do you mean?" "She has been texting all of our high school friends to see if anyone has heard from you. She came to your parents' house twice, but they told her to go away. She called your former job, but they wouldn't tell her anything. She is really trying to find you." "Why?" "People say that Jordan left her again after she took him back the second time. It looks like this guy has trouble making commitments or something. She now thinks that you were the one who got away and that she had to make things right." I laughed. "Couldn't help it. This isn't how it works. I know that and you know that, but she doesn't seem to. Last week, Patricia, her mom, called your mom and begged her for your contact information. Your mom told her no and that Caitlin needed to let go. Okay. I just wanted to let you know in case she somehow finds you. The girl looks pretty set on what she wants. Thanks for the heads up." I hung up and told Ashley the short version. She raised an eyebrow. "So, it looks like your ex-fiancée is attempting to find you again after her other relationship didn't work out. And if she finds you, you're going to absolutely ignore her, right? That's obviously bad conduct. Thus it's good. You don't have to give her anything." "That's right. My sister gave me the second warning 2 months later." "Kyle, Caitlin somehow got my phone and has been texting me to inquire where you are. I blocked her, but I wanted you to know that she's still seeking." "Did she tell you what she wants?" "To say sorry, to explain, and to make things right." "The words she said." "I informed her that there was nothing to solve because you had moved on and she needed to do the same. She started talking about how you two were meant to be together and how she messed up, but she's learnt from it. She left me standing at the altar in front of all of our friends. You can't go back from that. You're preaching to the choir here. Just so you know, she seems very obsessive with finding you." Robert, of all persons, gave the third indication. He sent me a text out of the blue. "Kyle, I need to tell you something. Caitlin has been asking Patricia and me if we can get in touch with you. We told her no and that she should respect your space. She's not doing well with it. I simply wanted to let you know that she's actively looking for you." I liked that Robert was loyal. He had always been a kind guy, but his daughter didn't appreciate the proper things. But I wasn't scared. I had done a good job of hiding my tracks. I moved to a city where no one from my old life had ties, changed my phone number, and turned off all of my social media accounts. I was safe unless she hired someone to find me, which seemed like a lot of work for her. 2 years in Colorado. Life was really fantastic. Again, been promoted to senior regional manager for the whole Mountain West. Ashley and I had moved in together and talked about getting engaged someday, but we were taking our time. The Mustang is all fixed up. Jake ultimately sent it off, and I spent 6 months finishing it up in the garage of my condo. Life was calm, steady, and cheerful. Then my mom called, and she seemed agitated. Caitlin discovered me on Facebook and sent me a long message asking me to provide you her contact information. I didn't answer, but I wanted you to know that she's becoming worse. What did the note say? A lot of saying sorry. A lot of things have changed. A lot of pleading for another opportunity. She said that she doesn't deserve it, but she needs to talk to you to explain everything. I'm not sending it on. Okay. Thanks for the warning. But then the messages started flowing in through different ways. Jake got a message on Facebook asking him to tell me that Caitlin was sorry and wanted to talk. Somehow, my sister got a voicemail on her work phone asking her to pass on a message. LinkedIn even got in touch with my old college roommate. She was trying to discover anyone who might know how to get in touch with me by throwing a wide net. The one that worried me the most came from my dad. "Caitlin came to our place again yesterday, son. Your mom called the cops. She was advised not to come again and given a notice for trespassing." This is getting out of control. Did she say what she wanted? The same thing she tells everyone. That she did something wrong. That she feels bad? That she needs to have a chat with you. Your mother made it very clear to her that you have moved on with your life and she needs to do the same. She cried on our doorstep and said that her life fell apart after you left. That isn't my issue. I know we're taking care of it. I just wanted you to know in case she somehow finds you in Colorado. That didn't seem likely. I had been careful. But then I got a LinkedIn connection request from an account with a generic name and no picture. I clicked on it, and the only information I found was that they worked in relationship counseling in Denver. I was immediately skeptical, so I said no and blocked it. 3 days later, another one. Same vague profile, same place in Denver, but a different name. Blocked again. Ashley came home from work looking worried after that. Today, something strange happened. A woman came into the ER and asked me if I knew Kyle Morrison, who sold industrial equipment. She said she was an old friend who wanted to get back in touch. My stomach sank. What did you say to her? I told them I didn't know anyone by that name and that I couldn't give out personal information about staff or patients anyway. She departed, but something about it didn't feel right. How did she look? Ashley took out her phone and showed me a screenshot of the hospital's CCTV footage that she had acquired from their security staff. I took this after she departed since it looked fishy. There she was, Caitlin, in the foyer of the emergency room. She looked just like I recalled, but somehow more desperate. She had found me, not only my city, but also where my girlfriend works. That's my ex-fiancée. I told Ashley, the person who deserted me at the altar. Ashley opened her eyes wide. You must be joking. I wish I could. It seems like she's been trying to find me for more than a year. I guess she finally did it. What are you going to do? Nothing at all. We contact the cops if she comes here. I block her if she gets in touch with me directly. 2 years ago, she made her choice and I went on. Should we be concerned? Is she dangerous, though? I don't believe so. Just desperate and out of touch. But I'll call the cops tomorrow just to make sure they know about it. That night, I got a text from a number in Colorado that I didn't know. Kyle, I know you're in Denver. I know you've moved on. I know I don't deserve anything from you, but please allow me 5 minutes to explain everything. That's all I want. For a whole minute, Caitlin stared at the message. This woman left our wedding 2 years ago while holding hands with another man in front of everyone we knew. Made me feel bad. Wrecked months of work. She wanted 5 minutes to explain why she tossed away everything we had built. I went to bed after blocking the number. Well, here we are, read it. It's been 2 years since the wedding that wasn't. It's also been 2 years since I stood at the altar and watched my fiancé select someone else. I heard from my family that Caitlin is still looking for ways to get in touch with me. She must have heard that I'm with Ashley because she's been texting my sister to ask if we're serious, if we're engaged, and if there's still a chance for her. My sister's answer was wonderful. He is happy. Don't bother him. But she won't. I got another LinkedIn request last week from a bogus account. This one has a long story about working with industrial machinery. There were even bogus job listings, but they were for jobs in Denver, and something about it seemed wrong. I blocked it right away. Jake called yesterday to give me an update. Hey man, it looks like Caitlin is doing some soul searching to figure out what she did wrong or whatever. Someone told her to send you a letter to get over it. Her friends are advising her to go on, but she thinks you're her soulmate or something. I don't read letters. That's what I told her when she requested me to send one. You told her to move on, and she needs to do the same. Did she mention anything else? She realized she had given up the best thing that ever occurred to her when Jordan left her for the second time. That she didn't appreciate you since you were steady and dependable while she was looking for fun. That she's an adult now and knows what's really important. Nice story. Still not my problem. Ashley and I are talking about getting married this year. Now she knows everything. Not just the short version, but everything about Caitlin, the wedding, and the trip to Colorado. Everything. She gave a simple answer. You avoided a gunshot and made your life better. Don't let someone who didn't care about you before spoil what you have today. She is correct. Guys, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Please think about subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps to reach the 1000 threshold.